Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello everyone and welcome to your English class. In our lesson today, we'll continue with our third unit, which is titled If It Hadn't Happened. Our lesson today is the language in context and the listening lesson in your books, page 38. All you need for the lesson today is your books, page 38, a sheet of paper and a pen to take down your notes. Let's get started. From the previous lesson, you had an exercise to do, which is in your books, page 102, exercise F. Complete the sentences, write about what would you have been, or what could you have been, or what might have been. Number 1. If I had grown up in, you will choose here a country. Let's say France. If I had grown up in France, I could have learned French. Notice that we have used here the past perfect, had grown, then could have learned. If I had grown up, let's change the country, let's say India, I might have known how to play cricket. You can choose might have known. Now this one is an open one. You can choose whatever you want. If I had listened to my father, had listened to my father, I would have bought a new car. If my sister had called me earlier, notice, had called me earlier, I could have brought her pizza with me. What about the last one? If I had studied more, I might have passed the test. So use the past perfect, then you will use would, might, or could plus have with the past participle tense of the verb. Okay. Let's continue. For our lesson today, by the end of today's lesson, you will be able to talk about regrets. You will be able to form sentences using if conditional to talk about hypothesis. And you will be able to answer questions on the listening text. Let's get started with the language in context. Let's look at this one. What would you have thought if you had found a bottle? Let's imagine that you were walking by the beach, then you found a bottle. It was floating on the beach. What would have come to your mind? For me, maybe I will think that it is a trash. It is something that is useless. Maybe other people will say it could be a message, or it could be a fortune or a treasure. So, what have we used in here? If, had, and would have. Notice, if you had found the bottle, and the result is would have and thought. Would have thought about something. So, if I had found the bottle, I would have thought about that it could be trash. I would have thought that it could be maybe a treasure. Now, in your books, page 38, we're having here actually a story that you're going to listen to. And the first part, I will ask you this question. What could it be? Listen and give me your guess. What could it be? Let's listen together.
In 1949, Jack Worm, an unemployed man, was walking aimlessly on a California beach when he came across a bottle that had floated onto the beach. In it was a piece of paper with this message.
So, we have a floating bottle, glass bottle. Inside it, we're having a sheet of paper. What do you think the message could be? Maybe someone who was asking for help. It could be maybe a letter from someone who needs me to help him. Or it could be something that is going to be gifted to me. What are your thoughts? What do you think? Let's continue and read the message together. The following in here is the letter, and you will come up with the answer. What could come to your mind after reading this message? Let's listen.
To avoid confusion, I leave my entire estate to the lucky person who finds this bottle and to my attorney, Barry Cohen, share and share alike. Daisy Alexander, June 20th, 1937.
So, we're having here someone who had written this letter. His name is Daisy Alexander, telling that whoever found will find this bottle or this letter, he will take my entire estate, my entire money and fortune. And he, the founder, and my attorney or my lawyer will take them share and share alike, so 50-50. What came to your mind? What could come to your mind if you read this one? Would you believe it? Or you will say, no, maybe this thing is a lie. It could be a joke. It couldn't be real. Other people will say, no, I would believe it. I had found it and read it myself. Let's continue with the story. In here, what do you think? Listen and tell.
It was not a hoax. Mr. Worm received over $6 million from Daisy Alexander's estate.
I think he got 6 million from Daisy. It wasn't a hoax. A hoax, it means a lie or a joke. What do you think? I think that Mr. Worm is a lucky person. He was unemployed. He had no job, and he found the fortune for himself, and it was all his right. Okay, how about if we can trace back the story? Let's try to retell the story in chronological order. Chronological, the oldest until the newest. What happened at the beginning and how it ended up. At the beginning, the oldest thing that we've got, Daisy Alexander wrote a letter and threw it in a bottle. It happened in 1937. Then it will follow 1949. Jack Worm was walking aimlessly. He was unemployed. He had nothing. He was walking without a purpose on the beach. He was just walking without a purpose. He wasn't looking for anything, just for fun. Then suddenly he came across a floating bottle. Suddenly he found it. He wasn't looking for it. By chance, he came across a bottle that was floating on the surface of water. Then Mr. Worm received over 6 million from Daisy Alexander's estate. So just from walking aimlessly on the beach, by the beach, then he found the $6 million. This is the organization of the story. What would you have done with the money? Let's imagine that you were Mr. Worm. What would you have done with the money? Would you buy a car, or would you just save it? So I will tell if I had got the money, I would have, so we're following this, I would have bought a house. I might have be rich. I could have traveled around the world. So we can tell if I had found the bottle, I would have bought a new car. If I had found the bottle, I would have traveled around the world. If I had found the bottle, I might have bought a new house for my family. Okay, let's try to match these words together. We're having all the money and property, a lawyer, being unclear, a joke, without purpose. Which one means aimlessly? Aimlessly. We're having here the word less when we're having nothing. Aimlessly is without a purpose, no purpose. Confusion. I am confused. We're saying here being unclear. He didn't know what to do. Take my entire estate. What is estate? All the money, property, everything that belongs to Daisy. You enter my attorney. Who's the attorney? He's actually my lawyer. And it wasn't a hoax. A hoax is a lie or a joke. A lie or a joke. Here, let's try to come up with with answers for these. Tell what would you have done in each of the situations. Use would have plus the past participle in your sentences. I didn't drive carefully, so I had an accident. I was driving too fast or carelessly, and I had a car accident. So we will say, if I had driven carefully, I wouldn't have had an accident. Past perfect with the past participle, then would, this time wouldn't, have had. The first one is the auxiliary have, and the second one is the main verb. How about the second one? I was sick, so I couldn't go to the party. I will say, if I hadn't been sick, I would have gone to the party. Past perfect, past participle, then would have, and the past participle tense of the verb. I didn't grow up by the sea, so I don't know how to surf. I will say, if I had grown up by the sea, I would have known how to surf. Had, grown up, past perfect, then would have known. Would have, past participle. Let's go to the listening part in your books, page 38, and let's introduce the types of listening. When you are listening for a purpose, and the most important thing, why I am listening. So, the types of listening we're having, the first one is content listening. You are listening for very specific information, not the general idea. When did this thing happen? What is the name of his friend? Where are they? So you're looking for specific information. Or you're listening for comprehension, comprehensive listening. Comprehensive is the general idea. What are they talking about? What is the main topic? The main idea. Or you are listening for critical listening. Critical listening, you will give your point of view. Whether you agree, disagree, you are with the speaker, are you with this or that, with the first or the second speaker? So you're giving your point of view. And the last one is the emphatic listening. You will listen to the whole thing, then they will tell how do you feel afterwards. Do you sympathize with the speaker? Do you feel proud or you feel energetic? How do you feel after listening to the speech? Okay. How are you going to listen? These are the steps for listening. The first one is to read the questions. And we usually read the questions so you will get to know why I am listening. Is it for details, for general idea, or it is for emphatic listening or critical listening? Then it is the time for listening. And you will listen carefully, looking for the information that you've read about. And while you're listening, you will take notes while listening. Okay, let's get started in here. You will listen and you will tell who is speaking and what are they talking about. Give me names and the main idea. Let's listen together.
Call 1. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in to the All Ears Radio Talk Show. This is Sam Whitfield, and today we're going to discuss communication problems at the workplace. Now for our first listener, Jay Springfield, tell us what you regret saying or not saying to your boss.
Well, my boss had asked me to do a number of things, most of which required going to official services, waiting in lines for some time, or they were simply time-consuming tasks.
Did he realize how long it took you to do the things he'd asked you to do?
No, I don't think so. He never did. He was so demanding I couldn't stand it anymore, and he never appreciated hard work. I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I had to tell him.
Did you try talking to him about it?
I know I should have discussed it with him sooner, but I didn't. I wasn't the only one who felt this way. So, I told him. I told him that we all did our best to please him and he never had a kind word for anyone. That he was the boss and had the right to expect us to perform well, but not the right to make us feel worthless. That he should have given credit where credit was due. He should have commented on a job well done. He should have been more understanding with people. Then I resigned.
Well, I think you did the right thing. If I'd been in your place, I would have done the same. Are you sorry about resigning?
Yes. I shouldn't have left. I spent most of my working life there. I don't know if I'll be able to find another job.
I love what I do. I am a designer and I have worked in advertising for the last 7 years. But when I am under pressure, I can be very irritable and abrupt with people. I know it's not right, but I can't help it. So I manage to upset people that I respect and like working with. In general, I make life difficult for anyone who comes close.
Call 2. Sam Whitfield. Our second listener is Saeed. Tell us, Saeed, what regrets do you have about your behavior at work? If you realize all this, why didn't you talk to people? Why didn't you try to apologize or to explain?
I should have spoken to them, I know. But I felt so embarrassed every time it happened and they looked so fed up with me, I just gave up. I would still like to make up for all this.
That shouldn't be a problem. How about going over and talking to everyone?
Well, actually, that's not possible. You see, I was fired.
Oh.
Okay, so who is speaking? We're actually having radio interviews, 2 radio interviews. The interviewer is Sam, and he had interviewed 2. The speakers are 2, which are Mr. Saeed and Mr. Springfield. Both of them are having problem communicating at the workplace. What are they talking about? The general idea problem when communicating at the workplace, whether expressing your feelings towards your boss or you don't know how to communicate with your colleagues, with your partners. Let's continue. Okay, now we will listen to the first one, which is Jay Springfield, and he will tell about what happened and what are his regrets and what are the reasons. Okay, what really happened, this is the fact. What regrets, the things that he feels sorry for doing or not doing, and the last one, the reason for doing this or that. Let's listen to Mr. Springfield.
Call 1. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in to the All Ears Radio Talk Show. This is Sam Whitfield, and today we're going to discuss communication problems at the workplace. Now for our first listener, Jay Springfield, tell us what you regret saying or not saying to your boss.
Well, my boss had asked me to do a number of things, most of which required going to official services, waiting in lines for some time, or they were simply time-consuming tasks.
Did he realize how long it took you to do the things he'd asked you to do?
No, I don't think so. He never did. He was so demanding I couldn't stand it anymore. And he never appreciated hard work. I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I had to tell him.
Did you try talking to him about it?
I know I should have discussed it with him sooner, but I didn't. I wasn't the only one who felt this way. So, I told him. I told him that we all did our best to please him and he never had a kind word for anyone. That he was the boss and had the right to expect us to perform well, but not the right to make us feel worthless. That he should have given credit where credit was due. He should have commented on a job well done. He should have been more understanding with people. Then I resigned.
Well, I think you did the right thing. If I'd been in your place, I would have done the same. Are you sorry about resigning?
Yes. I shouldn't have left. I spent most of my working life there. I don't know if I'll be able to find another job.
Okay, so what happened in the situation of Jay Springfield? The situation in here, his boss was very demanding, asking him to do too many things and didn't appreciate his effort. So he asked him to do many things that are hard, that are time consuming, that these things take a long time, and he doesn't say thank you or give him a raise. Okay, then what are his regrets? His regrets are he shouldn't had resigned. Resigning is to leave work. After discussing it with his boss, he resigned and he left work. The reason, he doesn't know if he will be able to find another job. He feels sorry for resigning and leaving the job because he's not sure whether I would be able to find another job or I wouldn't be able to. Okay, let's continue with Mr. Saeed in here. You will listen and you will come up with the same thing. What happened with the situation of Saeed? What are his regrets? And why he regrets doing that.
Call 2. Sam Whitfield. Our second listener is Saeed. Tell us, Saeed, what regrets do you have about your behavior at work?
I love what I do. I am a designer and I have worked in advertising for the last 7 years. But when I am under pressure, I can be very irritable and abrupt with people. I know it's not right, but I can't help it. So I manage to upset people that I respect and like working with. In general, I make life difficult for anyone who comes close.
If you realize all this, why didn't you talk to people? Why didn't you try to apologize or to explain?
I should have spoken to them, I know. But I felt so embarrassed every time it happened and they looked so fed up with me, I just gave up. I would still like to make up for all this.
That shouldn't be a problem. How about going over and talking to everyone?
Well, actually, that's not possible. You see, I was fired.
Oh.
So what happened in the situation of Saeed? We're having here, when he is under pressure, he upsets people and he doesn't respect and like those people who he respects and like working with. So when he is under too much pressure, he doesn't respect people. He likes to upset people and he is abrupt. He will get nervous. Maybe he will say bad words to them. Then what are his regrets? He did something and he regrets it. He got fired. Here, they told him to leave work. Not like the situation of Springfield. He said, I fed up, I don't want to continue anymore. However, in the situation of Saeed in here, he got fired. His boss told him, never come back. You are fired. Then, what is the reason? He loves his job, irritable and abrupt when he is under pressure. Why would he regrets it? Because he loves his job. Why was he actually fired from his job? Because he is irritable and abrupt when he is under pressure. He is so nervous and sometimes he's rude with others when he is under pressure. Okay. What advice would you give Jay Springfield and Saeed? We will focus on them. So for Jay Springfield, his problem is that his boss is demanding. It's not from him, it is his boss demanding and he is not grateful and he left his job. We will say that you should have talked to your boss and also you should have talked more politely to your boss. So in his situation, the idea of discussion will be the best idea. So talk to your boss. However, you should have talked politely before resigning. You shouldn't have left your job. How about in the situation of Saeed? He is a person who, when he is under pressure, he would be abrupt. He should have apologized to others, and also he should have worked on the issue. He should have worked on himself, and he should have told the others about and apologized about what he had done with the others. For your homework, refer to your books, page 102. So 102 in your books, exercise E. Exercise E in your books, page 102. Okay, I guess that is it for the lesson today, and thank you so much for your time.